The Eagles and Patriots will be squaring off in Super Bowl 52, set for Sunday, February 4th, and I simply can't wait for the interesting matchup. Eagles will be the underdogs, of course, as they've been throughout all of the playoffs, but their defense will have plenty of chances to get to Mr. Tom Brady. So how will the Super Bowl turn out? Which players will have star performances and which will underachieve? And most importantly, who's going to win? Ready for a theory? Hey everyone, it's CTO of the Theory Channel, and Tom Brady is unbelievable. The thing with him, Belichik, and the whole Patriot team during the playoffs is that if they're winning, no team can catch up to them, but if they're losing, even by a landslide late in the fourth quarter, they're able to come from behind and win. It almost feels inevitable throughout every game. But anyway, today I'll be giving you my predictions for Super Bowl 52, Eagles vs. Patriots in Minneapolis. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you've watched most of the 2018 NFL playoffs, or at least the conference championship games, or at least know what a first down is. Okay, now I'll get started. So in order to eventually decide on a winner systematically, I'm going to rate both teams on 4 offensive categories, 4 defensive categories, and 4 kind of miscellaneous categories that are important for winning a football game. On offense, we have passing, receiving, rushing, and blocking. On defense, we have rushing the passer, coverage, tackling, and playmaking ability. And the extra 4 are turnovers, special teams, coaching, and intangibles. So it's pretty obvious who the edge in passing goes to, especially since one quarterback has 5 Super Bowls and the other is none. I'll give Brady a 9.9 out of 10. Foles, however, is much trickier. On one hand, he went to the Pro Bowl, tied the record for touchdown passes in a single game, and has taken the Eagles to the Super Bowl, but he's also still unproven, and is facing serious pressure to put up points with Brady on the other side of the field. I'll give him a 6.8 out of 10. Now, neither team has a top-notch receiving core, especially with Edelman and quite possibly Gronk out with injuries, but they both have underrated weapons to utilize. With Cooks, Amendola, and Hogan, I'll give the Patriots a 7.8, and with Aguilar, Jeffrey, and tight end Zach Ertz, I'll give the Eagles a 7.9. Moving on now to rushing, the Patriots have a slew of mixed-level talent in their backfield, including Dion Lewis, James White, and Rex Burkhead. New England doesn't actually use the running game a lot, at all, and it is considered a weakness for the team, 7.2 out of 10. The Eagles have a pretty good backfield, with 2 starting-level caliber backs, Jay Ajayi and LeGarrette Blount, a former Patriot, 8.1 out of 10. And finally, for offense, is the offensive line, one of the most underrated parts of a football team. After being handed the game ball of the AFC title game, the O-line of New England is flying high. Anchored by Nate Solder on the end, I'll give it an 8.0 out of 10. However, Philadelphia's line might be even better. Lane Johnson, Jason Peters, and Jason Kelce are 3 of the highlights, which is why I'm giving it a 9.1 out of 10. Okay, so now that we're done with the offense, let me clarify a few things. After finishing the defense and special categories, I'm going to tally everything up and average it out in order to pick a winner. But I'll also be raising the power of a few categories, like passing, running, coaching, turnovers, and intangibles, since they are the most crucial. Anyway, first for defense is rushing the passer, something the Eagles know how to do very well. I'll give them an 8.8 out of 10, mainly thanks to Fletcher Cox. The Patriots have an okay pass rush and had 3 sacks against Jacksonville. But unlike with the Eagles, there really isn't a Pro Bowl caliber player on that defensive front 7. And because of that, I'll give them a 7.6. Now, both of these teams have a pretty average secondary, with safeties being the strength on both sides. The Eagles have been much better on the stat sheet, however, ranking 17th on pass defense as opposed to New England, who ranks 30th. The Eagles get a 7.5, and the Patriots get a 7.2. The next category is tackling, which really is more like all-team defense. The Eagles gave up 1 fewer point than the Patriots all season, but they were both ranked inside the top 7. Meaning the Patriots get an 8.3 and the Eagles get an 8.4. And lastly for the defense is playmaking ability. Philadelphia was much better than New England all year in making interceptions and scoring defensive touchdowns, but the Patriots do have a knack of coming up big in Super Bowls. Eagles 8.2, Patriots 7.9. Side note, I realize that this is a pretty systematic way of deciding on a winner, but that's just kind of how I formulated my channel. But I will be talking about who I think will win from first glance at the very end, as well as who I'm rooting for and all of that. Winning the turnover battle usually wins you the game, and that's the first category up for this third group. The Patriots have an immaculate quality of not turning the ball over very much, mainly because of the man behind center. They also managed to make plays on defense, such as 3 years ago in Super Bowl 49, 8.5 out of 10. The Eagles aren't as proven, but did make 19 interceptions in 16 games this regular season. With a backup quarterback, though, I'll give them an 8.0. Both teams have good kickers, but Steven Gostkowski is just so consistent. New England also has Amendola back there as a punt returner, who's been able to make plays all season, despite the absence of Julian Edelman. The Eagles did have Darren Sproles, one of the best returners in the league, until he was placed on injured reserve, diminishing Philadelphia's special teams. 8.8 for the Patriots, 8.2 for the Eagles. Moving on to coaching, I don't think I have to explain why New England gets the edge in this one. Doug Peterson's a good coach, but has never been to a Super Bowl before, and he's up against future Hall of Famer Bill Belichik. 8.7 for the Eagles, 9.7 for the Patriots. And last of all is our intangibles category, covering everything from penalties to game-changing plays to clutchness. Once again, New England stands on top, though. They only took one penalty in the AFC title game, have the GOAT in Tom Brady, and have shown time and time again how they can win Super Bowls, even coming from 28-3 down. The Pats get a 9.8, and the Eagles get an 8.6. Okay, so we're finally ready to tally everything up. I'll multiply passing, coaching, and intangibles by 2, rushing, tackling, and turnovers by 1.5, and everything else by just 1. When adding everything together, the Patriots have a flat score of 142.4, and the Eagles have a flat score of 134.35. And when you divide these numbers by 15 to take into account certain categories' multiplicities, the Eagles get an 8.9 and the Patriots get a 9.5 as the final scores, meaning that according to my systematic logic, New England will win the Super Bowl. But anyway, what do I actually think will happen? I think the Patriots will win, and that this Brady, Belichik, Kraft painful era isn't over yet. Philadelphia will be a good competitor, and they'll hopefully make it very interesting, but at the end of the day, there's just too much magic on the Patriots side. I'll be rooting for Philly, even though I hate the Flyers, but I just can't watch Tom Brady earn yet another Super Bowl ring. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future sports theories. You can check out my realignment of the NFL divisions by clicking the top left video, or watch a theory on the hit Netflix series Stranger Things by clicking the top right video. Enjoy the Super Bowl!